Oh, hi there. Today I want to talk about drifting. That might seem a simple word in itself, but I wanted to share about how we can, in our lives, in our relationships, whether it's with God or with people, in our businesses, we can drift. It's something we have in part of our human nature. It's something planes do. And usually they say that the pilot or the autopilot has to autocorrect or course correct numerous times to get a plane to its actual destination. And we need to do that as well in our lives. Hi there, I'm Rafia Tedekule. Welcome to the next in my series of Walk With Me videos where I share little nuggets of my life and journey and how God's helped me through and how that can hopefully help you in your journey as well. So what brought this thought on was the fact that I was thinking of my relationship with God and looking at that journey where I started when we had a great relationship where I was communicating with Him. But then how over the years, I seem to have drifted a little bit without actually realizing that I had done so. And that's why it's called drifting, because you don't intentionally do it. And that for me has looked like the things that made me really close to Him, which was having regular personal time with Him in the morning, to share my thoughts, to hear His thoughts, to get guidance for the day. Somehow, in the busyness of life, it's been slowly eroded away. And that has at times left me back in that place of not being sure, having to second guess myself because I wasn't sure that I'd asked Him into it. Maybe getting a bit of confusion, sometimes overwhelm. But then when I stopped and found myself a space to think about it, observe what I was feeling, I could acknowledge in that place that I had let lesser things take priority over my time with God. And I say lesser in the realms of the impact it makes in my life. There were good things, there were business things, there were personal development things, there were even family things, but I let it erode my day. And that reflection led me back to having my boundaries or my bookends for my day. And yes, I still had those routines I performed, but it allowed other things to dilute my time with God, which wasn't a lot of time, but it was so important. And by doing that, I now drifted off from being fully charged, fully reconnected, being in alignment, being in sync with Him and myself. And therefore, that started showing in my days. It showed in my tiredness, it showed in my thought processes, it showed in my patience or the lack of it sometimes. But it also showed in the reduction in that sense of being with Him 24/7. Not that He wasn't with me, but I wasn't with Him. So, how do we catch drifting? Whether that's in your personal walk with God, or it could be even in your business or in your relationships. When we start minimizing the impact or overriding the time we put aside for such important things with other things that seemingly look urgent and important, and when we start letting that erode into our routines or habits, then we're beginning to drift. When you hear comments like, oh, are you busy again? Oh, we're not having this time together again. Or you hear yourself saying, oh, I'm really sorry, but I need to cancel this. It's important to me, but I need to cancel this because something else has come up. Maybe that's the time to pause and to decide what's truly important, reprioritize, And once you've reprioritized, then take action. Just rise and take those actions. So for me, my drifting with God, my action is, rather than being on a prayer platform where someone's praying over me, I'm going to hedge more time to be on a chatting room with God where I have a chat with Him, otherwise known to some as prayers. So, a passing question for you. Where in your life, business or relationship, have you caught yourself drifting? What one thing can you do to change that? And I'd love to be your accountability partner. So you can either pop that as a comment below or send me a private message. I'd love to help you move along and stop drifting. That's it for today. And until the next time, keep smiling.